Welcome to Beyond the Stockroom, where we will be exploring the vast career opportunities that exist beyond the stockroom. What happens when a product is out of stock? That's where we come in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Stockroom. We are so excited for our next special guest. She is Rebekah Moomau from Portico Collection. Rebekah, please introduce yourself and talk a little bit more about what you do for the amazing company that is Portico.
Of course. Yeah, my name is Rebecca. I am the director of sales here at the Portico Collection. We're a rep agency based out of the Dallas Market Center, and I oversee all of our sales reps that live in their territories, are out selling on the road, selling into our boutique customers. And then I also oversee pretty much all of our vendor relationships. So I get to chat with people all day long. That's all I do. Really, we're just coming up with brand strategies, customer promotions, incentives, just general ideas for our territory, trends, pretty much just anything. I like to call myself the professional yapper because that's all I do all day long. And then I also get to do a little bit of the prospecting too as we look at our line package and see kind of what holes we're missing, what new vendors we'd like to bring into the showroom. I get to be a part of that process as well, and then help kind of lead them through the onboarding process to make sure they're set up well and set up for success with our reps.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How long have you been working for Portico and how did you get into it, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, I have been at Portico and just the general industry for a little over 6 years now.
Damn,
When
time flies.
I Yeah, not too much happened before that. I went to college at Oklahoma State, and I was in my minor was in merchandising, and one of our professors had heard about how you could be a temp during show setup in Dallas, and I grew up in Dallas. And so when she brought that up, I was like, okay, that could be something I'm interested. I've always been someone that loves to have a job, always likes to stay busy. So I was like, perfect. That was my senior year of winter break.
Nice.
And honestly, I didn't know that much about the industry or anything about rep agencies at all. I'd driven past the Dallas Market Center a million times. I think I had been inside twice. Funny enough, one of my high school homecoming dances was here. And then one of my merchandising classes, we had been through and done a tour at some point, but I don't think I really fully understood what was going on in this building, as most people don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I showed up first day, really was just trying to immerse myself, get to do a lot of the different things that are involved with market setup. And it's pretty crazy. You guys know there's walls moving, you're ticketing everything, price
Yep.
changes, all of those things. So I really got to experience a lot of that when I was a temp. And then the timing of like the end of my winter break was also like the last week before market. And so I had our VP Randa, she wrote a letter to my professors and she was like, Rebecca should stay. Like she's going to learn so much during market. And I really just wanted to see kind of that full life cycle of, we just did all this work for setup. Like I want to see what it all comes down to. So
Yeah.
that's what I ended up doing. I skipped the first week of school, going back in and just got to gain a lot of experience working with customers and writing orders and just kind of getting to be face to face with everybody and seeing the full show cycle. So
Yeah. That's what
um,
we always talk about is like people can help set up, but it's really like you need to see the show. That's what we're all here for.
Yeah.
So
yes,
that's
yes,
That's where you get
exciting.
the whole pulse of everybody coming together and working.
Yeah.
yeah.
How all our efforts come
Yeah,
together.
all comes together. And we've said it for the 6 years I've been here, like it's crazy, of course, but it always happens and it
Right.
always goes well. So it was just cool that first time, especially being an outsider, just getting to see the full show cycle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I heard about the industry in general. And then we joke about it now, but I after I graduated a couple months later, I still didn't have a job, so I came back, moved back to Dallas, back home, still was a temp at Portico, and then I ended up getting a full-time job in Oklahoma City. And on my last day of work, I was walking out, and our VP ran, and she's like, "I heard you got a job, like congratulations." And like, "Oh, by the way, we're hiring if you know anybody." And I was like, "Are you kidding? Like, And I just had to let it slide at the moment because I still didn't really know what I wanted to do. I think like all young people, like when you're still in college or even post grad, like you really don't actually know what you want to do until you're in it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I moved to Oklahoma City, and then a couple months after that, I was ready to come back. Well, my family lives here, and so I called up Portico and I was like, "Are you guys still hiring?" They're like, "Yes, we are." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, perfect! It all lined
Nice.
up perfectly." Beginning
Yeah.
of 2020, it was the perfect timing. I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of got to do a couple different jobs at this point. I started out on our national accounts team, coordinating for our manager and working with some of our larger customers, kind of getting to see that sales support side of everything that goes into those larger customers. And then after a year or two of that, I started to manage a couple accounts myself. And then from there, I moved kind of into the management side and started managing one of our divisions, our two divisions here. And then we had a couple changes that allowed us to really lean into our strengths. So that's when I moved into the director of sales role. So now I really, like I said, I get to talk all day long with our vendors, our reps, pretty much
Yeah.
everything. So I love
The
how I've gotten to experience so many different parts of this business. I think anyone would say that in a rep agency side, like you're really getting to get a lot of different experience, exposure
yeah.
for sure.
That's what Kelly had
Absolutely.
said when she was like, "Oh, I found just gotta have it." And honestly, the agencies are awesome. This is where
Yeah.
it's at.
Yeah. There's so many parts that
Yeah.
go into it and just the teamwork all together. It's just, yeah, it's great.
Right. And you're bringing this and yap meme to your
I
life.
know.
So
Yes.
that's
No,
fun.
literally. I've saw a sweatshirt and it said like professional yapper. And I was like, yes, I need to buy that. That one's me.
Love it.
Yeah, and I think in your role, you're also kind of wearing multiple hats because you mentioned you get to kind of prospect
Hmm.
new vendors and new product categories to pull in, which is pretty exciting. It's kind of similar to what Kelly mentioned on her podcast or her interview
Her
with us.
episode.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but yeah, that's awesome. So is that also why? Because I know I've seen you at many markets, not Dallas, of course you're in Dallas because that's where Portico is located. But I know you travel to Atlanta with the Portico gang. I think I've seen you in Vegas. So is that part of your role when you're out at shows, kind of prospecting those lines?
Yeah, for sure. We don't get a lot of time in Dallas to talk to our, I mean, we talk to our vendors, but we don't get to really have super meaningful conversation because we're just so busy. And then we also don't really get to get out of our own showroom bubbles very often, again, because we're so busy. So when we're going to Atlanta or Vegas or the home show or whatever it might be, we're usually looking for those prospect vendors, walking temps, walking through other showrooms, just really looking for, yeah, new prospect vendors, even just really great product ideas that we love. And then getting to talk to our vendors a little bit closer, since we don't get as much time to in Dallas. So yeah, definitely an important part of our prospecting process is really getting out there and seeing some things that we may not get to see in our home in Dallas.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you started as a temp in college. What about that first show that you temped in? I think you said it was a winter market, right? So you definitely got like
Yep,
the busiest market of all.
for
What
sure.
about it was so much fun that you decided I'll still temp for you for like the future shows and stuff? Did it just captivate you? What was like what
I
was
th
it that hooked you in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would say like market setup is glamorous by any means, but I
No.
think I just liked to see all the different parts of it because we had like our creative team that was doing all the merchandising. I thought I wanted to be a merchandiser. I learned very quickly that that was not the case. So I think, yeah, just kind of seeing it come together prior to just working with all the different teams. And I think at Portico, we're very collaborative. So everyone kind of helps in with the market setup process, even with our full-time jobs. You know, we're on the floor reticketing things or unboxing things, packing things up. So I think so. I think it was just seeing all of it come together. And then, yeah, like I said, when you got to see it actually come all together when you're in front of a customer. And I think also temping was great because I learned a lot about the product while I was touching it.
Mhm.
And so I was able to make, more informed answers when a customer was asking about it or like they asked what my favorite was. I already had it picked out because I unboxed all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just like
I
that
feel you there.
full selling cycle and just like having more of that knowledge and being able to actually use it when I was in front of the customers. And then I think too, just working with a lot of different vendors from
Yeah.
everywhere, really getting to meet them and understand what their product was. And at the time and still now, a lot of our vendors are smaller family owned businesses. So just kind of getting to learn about their story and what brought them to market, what brought them to Portico. Yeah, that kind of all just brought me back in.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And I feel you. Nest is also similar to Portico, where it's all hands on deck for show
Yep.
setup. And no matter, you can check your email while you're pricing all these things, take a break
Yep.
from pricing, check your email from your phone. Yeah. Something, because we have similar roles too, Rebecca. And something that I think from your story and how you got to the position you're in now, would you say that your experience working with those key accounts helped you now manage the reps? Because I'm assuming there's probably some age differences. And that's something that I also am up against too. So I'm curious. I went on ride-alongs last year with several of my reps, and that has helped me a lot. So I'm curious if that experience or what else you maybe have done to go venture forward in the management route.
Yeah, I think since I was so new to the industry at the time, if I had jumped like directly into the rep management side, I would have been so confused. I think the nice thing about key accounts is it's so broad. You do learn a lot, just terminology, what vendor capabilities are, who at the vendor is the right person to even contact. And just I grew a lot of my vendor relationships those first couple years because I was talking to them so often, probably more than a road rep would or on a daily basis, just
Yeah.
because of all, key account changes and all the things. So I think that was a big part of it was just building that relationship with the vendors and really, really getting knowledgeable about their product, which I think made a difference whenever I moved into the management side. I could speak a lot better to it.
Mhm.
When, a rep had a question, or I usually knew an answer pretty quickly or could get one pretty quickly. So I think that helps a lot. Just, I feel like the relationship between a rep and their manager, it's a lot about the trust between the
Mhm.
two. Doing what you're saying you're going to do for them. Just a lot of times being a listening ear when they have issues or they're trying to talk through a customer idea or something like that. So I think a lot of it um, really is just that trust and that knowledge that I was able to build up prior to being in that manager position. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. Similar. Being in the showroom a lot, yes, I get a lot
Yeah.
of those vendor specific things, and I can hone in a little bit more about like
Hmm.
the categories they have and yeah, things like that. So it's definitely helpful. So
Yeah.
in your role, what does your average day look like other than professionally yapping?
That's like literally all I do. Every day is different, which I also think is a great thing about this industry. I'm always learning something. But yeah, most of it is spent, depending on the time of the year, talking with vendors. When we get closer to the show, we get to talk about their showroom setup, where their samples, all of those fun things, but also get to work with, in tandem with our director of finance to help set goals for the reps, vendor specific goals, working with the vendors to set those to see where those opportunities might be. Our territory in general, there's some that are really well developed and some that have a lot more opportunity. So kind of working through those to see where those goals can be. So mostly, yeah, talking to vendors, I talk to the reps, really just overarching ideas on how they can better service their customers or if they have an event idea that they want to do with their customer. Um, and then
Oh,
talking to
nice.
prospects. Probably my favorite part. I get to brag about Portico when we do that. So that's
That's
probably my favorite part when I get to do that for sure.
and are
Yeah.
these mostly phone calls?
Lots of
Yeah.
Zoom Teams
Okay.
meetings. Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
We like to show our faces and I
Yeah.
feel like it just makes it more personal. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
lots of chatting
Yeah,
or just
absolutely.
random phone calls.
Nice.
As personal as it can be when you're not face to face.
Right.
So,
I
Yes.
know. Yeah. And honestly, since I didn't start here until February of 2020, I didn't know anything any different. I'm so used to Teams, I
yeah.
wasn't used to like
Yeah.
really any in person or phone calls or conference calls, whatever that was. So just feels very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that because COVID changed a lot of things about our industry, but I do
Right.
think that the Zoom and Teams and the video calling capabilities has helped because
Yeah.
in conference calls, because I had a couple of those before the pandemic, and it's hard because you don't know, like you can kind of see at least in someone's face that they're about to speak, or
Right.
so
Yep.
there's just so much interrupting on conference calls, and yeah,
Yeah.
it gets messy. So this is
Yeah.
hopeful. And then yeah, I think our generation too does as much as it's informal, the face to face does help because ultimately, like, we're FaceTiming more than we are like calling
Right. That's so
each
true.
other. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's funny.
Cool. Well, what do you think, like, if you were a sales director for a different company in a different industry, what do you think would look similar about those roles and what would be different about these roles? You kind of
I
touched on it a
think,
little bit, but
yeah, I think our industry is very relationship specific. And I think we kind of all say this, but we're definitely in the relationship building business and, selling just is a part of it.
Mhm.
So I think we value those connections a little bit more maybe than some other industries might, with both our customers and our vendors and just any partner that we're working with.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of what's different. And like I said before, even with, the trust between a rep and their manager, it's the same trust with a rep and their customer. They're really hoping that, they're going to give you great product recommendations for their stores. Same with us and our vendors, they're trusting us to sell their product. So I think a lot of that goes around and maybe a little bit different than other industries. And I think in general, like we get to sell really fun products. So
Yeah.
we get to sell
Yep,
fun things, and
absolutely.
I've never experienced anything different. So I can't say I've sold software or anything, but I like to think that we're a lot more fun. So
Yeah, I do too. I like to think that too. And I'm there with you. I haven't sold anything but fun things for my entire
yeah,
life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is fun.
Um, so for our listeners, Portico, I'll just say, because I've been in your showroom many times, is one of the fun ones that have their staples at market, like
Yes.
your peach bellinis
Yes.
during markets. I know it's a rave.
Yep.
Um, Portico also, like I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably the same way you tempt. It seems you have Portico has it dialed in on getting like temps and oftentimes I think repeat temps.
Oh
What
yeah.
what do you think keeps, is it the same reason you came back that you think all these other temps come? And those that are like out in the career world, what do you think is preventing any one of them from saying, you know what, I really enjoy this and I want to be a rep or I want, to be a sales manager or, whatever other role there may be. What do you like? What are your thoughts on that?
I think especially we do get a lot of repeat temps, which is really great. I think a lot of it is that they have gotten to know our vendors when they're here and they just love getting to see them again, selling the products. Just like my education has grown as I've been here, so do the temps. The second time they come back, they already know what the best sellers are. The third time they come back, they're a pro and know the answers. They probably know more answers than I do at sometimes. Especially the ones that do market setup too, they just really get to fully immerse themselves. So I think that's part of it is just again getting to experience the full cycle. And a lot of our temps have become good friends with the reps too, so they know some of their customers. With kind of our overflow traffic, any appointments that don't get um, to be worked with the rep, they're getting to work with the temp. I think that's probably something else they enjoy too, is just getting to work with a wide variety of customers from all over. You're going to get a different customer. Every person that walks through the door is different, so they kind of get to experience a couple different sides of that. I think I don't know, bringing them in, when they're looking to be a sales rep, it maybe timing sometimes is kind
Yeah.
of goes into effect. I think what's really great about Portico is that we have a really solid reps that are out on the road. So I think maybe just timing, but it's definitely a great opportunity for them to dip their toes in and kind of learn about the industry and what it's all about before they kind of fully jump into it. But
Yeah.
at least at Portico, our reps aren't employees; they're 1099 contractors, so that could also, be something that may affect their decision going into it. But I know every agency is different and does it differently too.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, when you found out about temping, maybe for any college listeners, college student listeners, you found out about it from one of your professors. Was it one of your professors from your merchandising minor?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we had someone here that went to Oklahoma State, and so I think she had reached out to our professor, and
Okay.
I think she kind of oversaw the whole merchandising program, so she told everyone.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great spot to find young people too, and we love
Yeah.
like finding temps that will come back time and time again, especially if they're younger, because you know they're painting, they're doing all the things, so
Yeah.
it's definitely a great avenue for
Awesome.
sure.
Yeah, that's a route
Absolutely.
that we need to explore some more as SWTA grows, is trying to spread that word
Yeah,
and similar to other colleges. Because beyond just like the cities where there are the permanent showroom spaces,
right.
there are temp shows that happen across the nation. And when
Yeah.
we're talking temps for a permanent showroom, and then a temp show, listeners, is one that is set up like in a convention center with pipe and drape. And then all of us, Nest is a company that does participate in one temp show. It's the Rocky Mountain Souvenir and Apparel and Gift Show.
Think of
And so
like
then,
sorry, I
yeah,
was just
we
gonna
have
say
to go
think
and
of
set
like
up our stuff.
Comic-Con, but instead of retail where you can go in and you can be anybody, right?
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna go buy comics from publishers for my comic book store. And
Oh, yeah.
everyone that goes to that
Yeah.
show has to be in the trade, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, convention center, booths, badges,
Yeah.
the whole
But
nine.
there's always those shows in particular for the listeners that do want to temp, but maybe don't live in Dallas, Atlanta, or Las Vegas. These shows, they require setup. So if you want to help with just setup, you can see the whole show through as well with helping with setup, tear down, and working the show.
Hmm.
But a lot of these companies do need people that are in the cities that the shows are happening in, rather than sending some of their staff members out there. Usually one staff member is present and they'd probably be your manager while you're temping at these temp shows, but yeah, things like that. So cool.
Yeah. We work with a local college here to find interns, which is a little bit
Nice.
different than our temp program, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, great opportunity, especially if they have, a required internship or anything.
Yeah.
There's a
Wow.
lot
I
of
didn't know you guys offered internships. What does that
yes.
program look like?
So, yeah, we work with mostly a local college. We get applicants from other places too, or people that are local to Dallas. But we bring in a couple each season, usually right before we start with market setup. Same thing as a temp. They're going to experience the whole Portico experience. So usually they come in with a goal, or they have a couple of goals for themselves that they've set through their internship, through their program in college. But our goal is for them to really experience all sides of it. So they're gonna get to see what the creative team does. We had one out there earlier that was taking shelves off the wall, so they're learning how to use a drill. Learning how to hang shelves, all the things, to really get them a full rounded experience. They're getting to work with the product again, packing, ticketing, price changes, all of that, getting a lot of hands-on experience. They sit in all of our staff meetings, our weekly staff meetings, so they kind of get to see the process of how we move through each week and get through show setup, with our checklist. They're typically getting to write orders with customers during the show. And then after, they kind of get to see what all happens after the show too, when we have to transfer samples or do whatever. They're really getting to experience a lot of different parts of it, which is our goal. We want them to, even if they come in as a merchandising intern and they want to merchandise, we want them to do that, of course, but we want them to still kind of get the full experience. So
Yeah.
they kind of get a little bit, little mix of everything.
And how long is the program?
I think it depends on their requirements because I think they have like a certain number of hours they have to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So usually it ends up being like at least 3 months, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually from like May to July. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So like,
like
That's
it's,
yeah,
awesome.
summer
yeah,
internship for you guys with
yeah,
Dallas being a
yes,
major market. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
it's kind of perfect timing too.
Yeah. Nice. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome that you offer an internship. That's actually something we, as our association, is actually working on standing up as an internship that is not specific to an agency or one party, but to kind of help that same mindset we talk about with shows, how you kind of get to see all of it come together. So our vision for the internship would be you get, I think we were talking about 4 weeks or 2 weeks. I don't know, but like you get basically a month with the agency leading into market.
Mm.
So you work at the agency, you help set up the show, you work the show, and then post market, you go with one of the vendors that was represented in that showroom, and you basically work with their team for the remaining month or 2 weeks or whatever it was we were talking about. Um, and that way you kind of see both sides of it and you understand all of the pieces and you can kind of get like a wider experience um, to then hopefully, for those that are like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't
Mhm.
know what I like or what I don't like. So a really great way to know really quickly whether like, "Well, actually, I like talking to people," or no, I don't like talking to people, but I don't mind, making cold calls on the back end just to follow up on orders or something like that, right? Like a customer service type role. So um, yeah, that's awesome that you offer that.
Oh, nice. Um, how is Portico possibly getting affected by kind of all of the things going on in the world and with the ever-changing landscape that is external factors we can't control that do impact our industry? What do you, from your perspective, Rebekah, think the industry looks like in like 5 to 10 years?
I think it kind of varies on the different sides of our business. Like on the sales rep side, and I think it's already happening. They're working harder and harder to be staying in front of their customers, really providing that true added value that technology may not be able to provide them. That's being in the store, helping with an event, doing an inventory of the cards on the floor that they may not keep in their system. So I think on the sales rep side, that has affected it already. But I also think that they could be using some AI technologies or whatever it might be to help their business too. Specifically, we've seen, new accounts have been a really important part of our business as we have seen the consumer behavior change a bit, them being in stores less. So, them using AI to help find new prospects, new customers. They really have to stay on top of their social media and see who's opening or who's moving, who's closing. I think that's been a big change that is already kind of taking place, and I think it'll continue to be like that as well. And I think sometimes in general our industry can be a little hesitant to change. So I think that's something that we have really tried to embrace on our side as an agency, just trying to be nimble, willing to change, and hopefully getting to pass that along to our reps and our customers and vendors. And I think just having younger people as well, they've, especially the people coming into the work industry right now, went through COVID during college. They started taking classes from home, whatever that is. They're used to change already.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that can absolutely be said about bringing younger people into our industry. But that's definitely something I'm hoping to see as well. It's just younger people coming in, hopefully providing different perspectives as they start to learn about the industry and just the wholesale business
Yeah.
overall. So I think lots of change in the future, and everyone, reps, vendors, agencies, we all kind of have to just be willing to make those changes and not be stuck on our ways, or else we're really not growing if we're not changing.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest change the industry should kind of lean into right now?
Uh,
Had to
it,
pick
it prob
one.
It's a
I
tough one.
think it really is the technology. There's just
Yeah.
it changes on a daily basis. Or the technologies we're using, the ones that are coming out that we could be using. It's changing how catalogs are being made. It's changing how we pull reports on occasion. So it really touches all parts of all parts of our industry.
Yeah. All right, tech guy, what do you have to say? Are there
Give it
any
to us, Dylan.
changes maybe coming in the horizon that you can talk about?
I mean, there's always changes. Yeah, I mean, it's not changes every day. We don't move that quick, but yes, there are always changes happening. And I will just echo that. Yeah, I think like embracing technology and not being afraid of it, like to your point, Rebecca, AI. There definitely is still that dividing line of people that are like comfortable and somewhat use it, and those that think it's just the complete enemy and are scared to give it
Yeah.
anything. And I think it's just having that informed approach to understand how it can impact you. So, like as a sales rep, to your point, like coming up, maybe you just need to use it as a sounding board to brainstorm
Yeah.
ideas off of because it can have conversations with you. And yeah, it's kind of weird, but it does. It sounds like a person. It has conversations with you. But oftentimes it can help if you're one of those creative people that just needs to like talk to get some ideas out there.
Yeah.
Um, you can use it in that way. Now, if you're not paying for ChatGPT or any AI tool, I wouldn't necessarily feed it like your customer list and say, here, generate me this or tell me where I have holes in my sales, my road sales or anything like that. But as you want to give it more data, I would just encourage, yes, pay for it. Then the data is more sensitive to you. Um, it's not shared or used to build out the model in other degrees. But AI is a huge one because that is the daily changer in our current
Right.
Yeah. But
landscape.
And I think too, like at least I feel like when you look out at the sales reps that we do have out on the road right now, the age is a little bit higher. And so I think it's important for agencies and vendors, everyone to just again embrace it and help teach everyone how to use it and use it properly or ask the right questions or give the right details. I think, yeah, that's part of it too, is just educating on it.
yeah,
So I
well,
have I have an interesting scenario I want to run by you because I think you have a unique perspective being the sales director at Portico, and you just touched on kind of part of why we set out on our mission initially, and that's like, your average sales rep is an older demographic, right?
Hmm.
And we already, there's a club of us that are in the younger side in this industry, right? And it's hard. Like that's that mission we're talking about. You've mentioned it several times, trying to attract like the younger generations and stuff. Like, what do you think a successful turnover for rep? I think you've had in recent years one or two reps retire, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe this will be relevant in how you transitioned them. But my biggest thing, and I think what we are up against, is purely relationships, right? The
Hmm.
sales reps today have those deep relationships with their customers. And what's hard is even though Portico is the brand behind it, if you will, right? Your rep is a brand in their own right. And you can find somebody that's like, oh, I'm going to take over this Dallas territory, right?
Hmm.
But what do you think a successful like process is where you have somebody that's like, yes, I want to be a sales rep. I want to come in. I understand the 1099 aspects of it, but I don't know the people and I don't know who this rep that is well respected knows. And what do you think like that graceful transition period looks like? And is there like a plan you can establish to help with that in the future?
Yeah, we usually have, when it does happen, we have some type of transition period. Our goal obviously is to have someone new hired pretty quickly so they can keep that communication open with the existing sales rep. But I would say in general on our side, if the sales rep is retiring or whatever that is, they care so much about the customer that they want that to continue. So they're willing to, provide more information or whatever it might be, keeping their customer list updated or just more details about who they are, who the customer is as a person, or just more specific about their store, anything like that. I think they're pretty willing to do that. And then I think um, at the point that they are hired, we have a mentor program so that the sales rep is paired with someone who has been at Portico for, a couple of years at this point. And so it really helps lead them out on the road. I self-proclaim like I have never been a sales rep on the road, so I can't give you all of the best practices. I wish I could, but they're going to be the best, partner that you can ask questions easily and they'll know the answer. They'll have some ideas for you. Even things as simple as like how to pack your car with samples, which back roads to take. So you're trying to find new customers. So I think that's been a big part of it for us as well, as having that mentor in place that can really help, whether it's their counterpart or whoever it is, really dive back into their new customer base. And we always say when we hire a new rep, your first year is going to be you going out and meeting customers, building the trust with them, understanding how they like to work. Do they like to work in the store, on the phone? Do they like to order online? That first year really is such a big educating part, and that's how they're going to learn their customer base. They may have that previous history from the last sales rep, but every relationship is different too. So I think that's really the biggest part is just the educating and for them to get to know their territory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely. And I
that's
think
awesome.
I can add a little bit from my role too, Dylan, is like, especially in the scenario that you presented where a rep is retiring, we'll try to hire a replacement prior to
Hmm.
that retirement date so that the new hire can go out on the road with the previous rep and they then are formally introduced to customers. So that
Yeah,
kind of helps bridge it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, it's it's a hard thing because you can't always plan for it. Like I always say, we don't have
right.
like a long line of people standing outside this building called the wholesale industry waiting for jobs. But as we're promoting it and we're talking about it and making it more known, um, there could certainly be more people looking to get into it, and there's definitely going to be more opportunities. Which, again, I
Yeah.
think we do have our job board. We do have another, I think we'll have some more sales rep positions listed. So just doubling down on like that is by far what appears to be the biggest need right now is just sales reps or brand ambassadors or whatever you want to call them. But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what is some advice that you might give to people outside the industry looking to jump in to it, Rebecca?
I would say really try to explore all different sides of it. I think you brought it up earlier with your hopeful internship of having them work with an agency and a vendor. I think that is so great because they're so different. On the industry or on the agency side, we're working with 60 plus vendors versus, the vendors just working their line and their product. So I wouldn't be afraid to explore all different sides of it. I think once you get in, really just immersing yourself. I think when I first started at Portico, I was on the key accounts team, but when we were doing market setup or anything like that, I was usually the first person to volunteer myself because I just wanted to learn. I wanted to learn more. So I think that is really the biggest piece of advice, just really fully immersing yourself, allow yourself to learn beyond what your job title or your job duties are. And it's really just going to make you more well-rounded as a individual and as someone in the wholesale industry. There's so many different parts of it that you can explore. And I think once you're in, you learn so much that it can be good to just learn about other parts of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stay
definitely.
curious
And
for
you
Yeah,
sure.
stay
you
curious. I like it.
definitely have stayed curious and are now getting more involved in like extracurriculars outside of Portico too, because
Yeah.
Rebecca and I are on the auction committee together for
Yes.
GHTA.
Oh,
So
awesome.
fun.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Are you involved in any other associations?
Really,
Or
right now, just GHTAs. I've kind of stepped more into the manager role. But yeah, auction committee,
yeah.
give back committee,
Oh,
double
good.
timing it. So yeah, I think that's something else to be said about our industry. It's very small, very tight knit. I think we all know that. So, someone may be leaving, but they're going to go to the vendor right next door. So, I think that's something else too, is just the relationship building that I've gotten to do. And I know my coworkers have gotten to do with our vendors. Yeah, it really is just such a small, tight knit industry, but there's so many opportunities to get involved with other things,
It's
Yeah,
so
make a
small
difference.
but so vast at the same time.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to explain, but yeah.
Well, it's because of it's like what Landon had said on his episode about like you can stay in your silo if you want, or you can branch out and get involved in all of the other things that do exist that bring everybody kind of more together. So, yeah, I think there are plenty. I think the vendors more so do this than the agency kind of world. So, but yeah, like the vendors will sometimes stay in their silos. So there are like a lot of sales managers out there that I probably have no idea who they are because I've never repped their line, but I probably have seen them at some shows, but they're also just hanging out chit chat and their booth might be busy all the time. Like I
Yeah.
might not be into the product, so I'm not going to introduce myself. Like, yeah, there's those types of situations, but they also probably have their own little network of people that they're friends with in the industry, and eventually
Most
they all
certainly. Yeah.
Venn diagram together.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So in one sentence, especially in the Portico showroom, how would you describe show and markets?
My easy answer is that it's always a party at Portico because that is our tagline. I feel like it really just, it brings everything into that, but it's fast paced, exciting. There's always something going on, whether it's an event or food and beverage or whatever is happening in the building also. And then just getting to connect and really build relationships face to face. I think that's the best part.
Yeah, it's a vibe. We had Taylor say it's adult Disneyland.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yep, that works.
I would agree.
Oh,
Especially, I know you were saying, Rebecca, like you don't get to get outside of your showroom at your home show, but maybe like while you're in Atlanta, it's
Oh,
a little
yes.
bit more Disneyland feeling.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's nice because we're not confined to our square footage here in the showroom. So we get to talk to so many people. It's go to the GHD happy hour, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And all the new
definitely
cool
more
products.
fun.
Yeah. Are there any specific products you're looking for right now that maybe even a creator out there is listening to this podcast and they're making something, or a
That's a
vendor?
good question. We definitely I think we love bringing in smaller vendors and helping them grow. And I think that's also something to be said on the vendor side. A lot of vendors don't know what sales agencies are.
yeah.
They don't know what we do.
Yeah.
So I think that's always fun is when we're talking to those prospects, just getting to educate them on what Portico is and just in general what the industry is,
Mhm.
and helping them grow. So yeah, we love a small business, family owned,
Yeah.
kind of
Make
helping.
the impacts. That's what
Yeah,
we're here for. Small
exactly.
supporting small.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. When your friends ask you, what do you do? How do you start that long-winded answer?
They
And how do
never
you,
know.
how do you answer? Yeah.
I usually say, well, okay, so I live in Dallas, obviously. So I feel like most people have seen our building, but don't know what's going on inside. So I usually am like, okay, I work at the World Trade Center in Dallas. Like I work for a showroom, wholesale sales. We sell, to our boutique customers. We sell to our key accounts that have multiple doors. One time I told someone that and he was like, oh, so like the farmer's market. And I was like, no,
No.
much different, much different. But yeah, usually to like on the sales agency side, we're like the middle person between the vendor and the customer. Um, yeah, usually I like to bring people up here when I can so they can
Okay,
see the
good. I was gonna
showroom
ask
and
you that.
yeah, see what's happening. Usually, like since I've been here for so long, my friends know like, okay, the month of January and the month of June is not available. Like, what are you doing? And so it's fun to be able to show them and say, this is why I'm unavailable.
Yeah.
And they get to see it all. It's just, yeah, it's fun to actually get to show someone what's going on inside of the
Yeah.
building.
And
Then it
like once
blows
they
their
come in,
mind.
yeah, once they come
Yes,
into the
exactly.
showroom, does it click a little bit more? Do they better understand a little bit? Because
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen
for
that with my
sure.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, just kind of explaining like, the product that you're seeing in a store boutique, like it's coming from somewhere.
Right.
It's coming from the sales rep or from the vendor that you're working with. And,
Yeah.
always throwing out some vendor examples and they're like, oh yeah, I know that brand. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
our sales rep sold it to that store. So definitely helps click for
Yeah,
sure.
connect the dots. Yeah.
Yeah,
I always try. Brewmate was one that I was using for a while as like a
there
good
you go.
example because it was
Yeah.
literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And so my friends were like all about it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I have had the chance to rep that line.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what? So yeah, once it clicks, they kind of get it better.
Yeah.
I had a friend come in and actually help me merchandise this last show. So
Oh, fun.
that
I
was
love that.
yeah. She had a blast too. And then she's like, oh, why did I go into construction? I'm like,
These are
well,
very
I
different.
don't know. You're moving towards the interior design side of instruction, so maybe, but if you
Yeah, there you
still
go.
need a job later,
Yep.
Come on
this
back.
industry will always be here. So
Yes.
yeah, cool.
Should always be here. Should
Yeah,
always be.
it should. It should. We will be because the relationships, that's the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And
We're resilient.
technology doesn't do that. So yeah, our brands would stunt growth the human factor wasn't around and they just started ordering online. And then what's brand loyalty if there's not a person tied to it? So,
Right.
yeah, cool. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. We'll leave it with our last and most favorite question. What's your favorite part about working in this industry, Rebekah?
I think it's just the connections I've really made over the last 6 years. There are people that have been in this industry and really have so much knowledge. So I have so many people to look up to and to learn from. But at the same time, I'm just building strong friendships. It goes beyond that business side of things. Like I said, it's a very small, tight-knit industry. So really, wherever you go, whether it's Dallas, Vegas, Atlanta, you're going to a conference, whatever it is, you just know you're going to see a friendly face waiting for you. So I think
Yeah,
that's been my favorite part is just the connections and relationships I've made.
nice. And for our listeners who maybe are interested in any of the opportunities that Portico has available for temping or internships, where could they find more information about Portico and those programs to apply?
Yeah. We post our job postings on the Dallas Market Center website. If you scroll to the very bottom, there's an exhibitor job opportunity section. So we always post on there. And then we always post on our social media, doing outreach for temp help set up. And then, yeah, just on our social media, our LinkedIn, always posting to find the right people.
Awesome. And that's at Portico Collection.
Yes,
Yeah.
porticocollection.com. Yep.
Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
yay. We will see you. Well, I won't see you in Dallas. Dillon will probably
I'll
see
see.
you.
I'll see you in Dallas. Yeah. I'll see you in a
Perfect.
couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple
And yeah,
weeks, counting down the days.
I know.
awesome.
Can't
Good
wait.
luck with show setup and all your
Thank
conversations.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank
And we
you.
hope it's an awesome summer show. So cool.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Rebekah. Yeah, of
Thank you.
course.
Curious about any of the opportunities discussed in this episode? Be sure to check out the industry job board at wholesaletalent.com. And thanks for listening to Beyond the Stockroom.